Yeah, we are in the place of New York.
So the first thing you do is clap your hands, and then you'll just follow my directions after that. Okay? Ready? If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, and you really want to show it. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, stomp your feet. If you're happy and you know it, stomp your feet. If you're happy and you know it, and your face will really show it. If you're happy and you know it, stomp your feet. If you're happy and you know it, say hooray. Hooray! If you're happy and you know it, say hooray. Hooray! If you're happy and you know it, and your face will really show it. If you're happy and you know it, say hooray. Hooray! All right, I'm gonna try something that I have not tried before, and you guys know how good I am with mixing things up. But we're gonna try to do all three.
Now, does anybody in this room know how to twerk? It's all in. And then you just move your bum up and down like that, and that's twerking.
Who wants to be a drag queen when they grow up?
Drag should be an all-ages thing, and some people consider it provocative. It's not inappropriate.
Most people seem to walk away having a good time.
Yeah, start them young, right?
Whew, I'm all about education. I actually do story time with drag queens in Chicago, right? Yes, family programming. Love it.
Anyone can do drag. Everyone can do drag.
I've looked up to you for many years. You're the one who got me into the conservative movement about 8-9 years ago. I really love you. And out of everyone in the conservative movement, you're the one who I feel matches my moral ideals the most. One thing I just want to ask you, as a Christian woman who wants to start a family, and I look around me nowadays, especially living in California, I'm really afraid of what my child's going to be exposed to. I live with a 6-year-old, and every time she comes home, I worry that she's playing dog, she's gonna pretend to be a furry someday, or I don't know, I get scared of that stuff, honestly. What do you think is the best way to prevent our children from being influenced from those ideals and growing up with the proper Christian ideals? Even though we keep it in our household, they're still exposed to it outside.
Yeah, first of all, don't send your kids to government schools. That's number one. Number two, have a very robust church life and attend church regularly. Honor God in all that you do. And also, marry a godly man that was willing to defend your kids and to wall off all of the negative, poisonous content that might come after your future children. It's very, very important. And then finally, I don't want to say leave California, but it's getting worse around you. The cultural poisons and toxins that are out there is so dreadful. It is so heavy. So that would be my piece of advice for you.
Thank you so much.
And if you are called to be a stay-at-home mom, that's a beautiful thing. You don't have to go into the workforce to be a godly woman. In fact, I recommend being a stay-at-home mom. It's one of the most underappreciated elements of American life.
I want to clarify a point that y'all mentioned earlier. You said you don't believe in white privilege, correct?
Yeah, it's a myth. It doesn't exist.
Okay. So according to the Bureau of Prison Statistics from last month, 38.3% of our current inmate population is black. But according to the 2020 census data, only 12.2% of our national population is black. So if you don't believe in white privilege, how do you explain this disparity?
So why are they in jail?
It has been this way for years, since the 90s.
No,
since before
why do people go to jail?
Why are black people in jail at higher rates than white people?
That's the question, right? Maybe because they
Yes.
commit more crimes than white people.
But that's not true. It actually is.
They do. So every independent analysis shows that blacks have committed a disproportionate amount of crime. No one wants to say it out loud, but it's true. In fact, in New York, 52% of murders are committed by blacks, 40+% of arson, 60+% of drug deals. And so the question you should really be asking is what drives them to commit crimes? That's the question, right? The real question is, and maybe I can ask you, what percentage of blacks are raised with two parents in the home?
So actually, according to the Uniform Crime Report for 2019, black or African American individuals committed only about 1 million crimes, while white people committed about 4 million crimes.
But that's proportion.
Yeah, how about the proportion?
There's a lot more white people than black people in the United States.
It's a 60% white country and a 14% black country. So you just proved my point. You literally, so basically that's a disproportionate amount of crime. It is.
But listen, I want to say, look, you are coming up here and you're asking a question, and that's not easy to do, first and foremost, no matter what. And I really appreciate your question in front of all these people. It's hard. So thank you for asking your question. But let me point out what you just did, and you didn't know that you did it. You switched from proportion to raw numbers.
That's right.
And you did that to make a point that you thought you were making, but you weren't. But look, your issue was that Black Americans only make up 13% of the population, and yet they make up, I think you said, like 38% of the prison population. And then you switched to raw numbers because, so black people only make up 13% of the population, but they commit 40% of all homicides and 60% of all violent crime. Unfortunately, I don't think that's anything inherent in black Americans. That's not what I'm saying. That's just the fact. And what Charlie is saying is, look, we've got to look at why that is. So you're claiming that that disparity is inherent proof of discrimination. So would you also say the fact that there are fewer Asians in jail means that than white people, that there is discrimination against white people? No. Disparity isn't proof of discrimination is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. So let me just throw, and Allie's exactly right. What percentage of blacks grow up with two parents in the home?
I don't know.
Yeah, less than 20%. That's why there's so many blacks committing crimes and they're in jail. It's that simple. The death of the black family is why blacks are in jail higher than their population percentage. It's that simple.
May I see your criminology degree? Do you have one?
I'm sorry.
Oh,
Wait.
we've gotta, are you a biologist, Ketanji Brown Jackson?
No, let me ask you a question. So,
Ephesians 4 verse 18 says, they are darkened in their understanding and separated from the life of God because of the ignorance that is in them due to the hardening of their hearts. This verse is a sobering reminder, ladies and gentlemen, of the spiritual conditions of so many in our world today. It shows us that ignorance isn't just a lack of information, but it's a result of a deeper spiritual problem. You see, a hardened heart. A hardened heart. When people willingly resist God, their ability to discern truth becomes clouded. It becomes clouded, and their understanding becomes darkened, and they lose touch with the very source of life, God Himself. God Himself. The tragedy is that many don't even realize they are blind because the darkness has become like a normal everyday life for them. It has become part of them. Can you imagine? So, is there hope? I would like to believe there is. If the heart can be softened through repentance, humility, and the work of the Holy Spirit, then the light can break through and understanding can be restored.
So do I need a criminology degree to be able to understand that 75% of blacks don't grow up with two parents?
To be well versed in it, I believe so.
Do you have one?
I don't, but I'm studying it.
Okay,
right
but
now.
you
Oh, she studied it.
Mhm. But you did the same thing. You looked at a statistic, and he did the same thing. You
Look,
don't have a criminology
Have you
degree,
even taken
neither
a
does
criminology
he.
course? Have y'all
Hold on
taken
a second. You're doing an argument from authority, okay?
It's a fallacy.
So the laws of physics don't change whether or not you're a physicist, okay? The law of thermodynamics doesn't change whether or not you take a course on it. Answer the question. Why do blacks have a broken family versus a nuclear family, and does that translate to higher rates of crime? Do you admit that?
Why is it that blacks don't have parents, though? Why?
Good question. We subsidize single motherhood in this country through the federal government of the United States. Great question. Now we're getting somewhere. Back in the 1960s, we put forward a program where black women married the government and broke up with the men they were with. Welfare state, Lyndon Baines Johnson, and that has contributed to blacks committing more crimes.
I believe institutionalized racism is your answer, but I don't believe I'm getting anywhere
but
with y'all.
But no, just let me say, just let me point something out. Did you know that it's not white Americans that have the lowest incarceration rate or the lowest rates of crime or the highest graduation rates or the highest median income? It's not white Americans. It's Asian Americans. They have the highest median income. They have the highest graduation rates. They have the most degrees. They have the lowest incarceration rates. And guess what? They also have the lowest single parenthood rates. Okay? So that is true across the board. It's not just black Americans. And unless you're willing to say that the reason why Asian Americans make more than white Americans or the reason why Asian Americans go to jail less than white Americans is because there is systemic institutional racism against white people in this country, then your argument against black people doesn't really work.
So let me ask you one thing. You said institutional racism. I got a black friend right up here. He's great. He's great. So let me ask you. Let me ask you a question. What can I do that he can't do?
What do you mean?
If institutional racism was real, what can I do that he can't do?
Well, you're less likely to get arrested.
I'm sorry. No, if we both commit a crime, he's going to get arrested and I'm not?
He could.
Wait, so we just went through this. Blacks commit a disproportionate amount of crime in this country because of broken families. So give me one law on the books. You said it's institutional. Give me a law anywhere that discriminates against blacks. Give me one law anywhere in America.
You want current or past?
How about right now?
Well, the fact that crack cocaine is criminalized more than regular cocaine.
No. If I deal crack cocaine, I'm getting arrested regardless of skin color. Give me a law.
White cocaine, you're
give me
less
a law
likely to get a harsher
anywhere
sentence.
that allows white people to commit crimes and get away with it, and blacks can't. Does that law exist?
Not anymore. But
Because there's no institutional racism in America. The idea of institutional racism is laws on the books.
Just because it's not down on paper doesn't mean it's not real.
Okay, give us an example. Not just a disparity. Not just a disparity.
God isn't, you don't see God.
He's on paper. Read the Bible.
Arguing with many laborers today feels like a complete waste of time. Not because the issues don't matter, no, but because the mindset has been so deeply conditioned. You see, they don't listen to understand. No, they do not. They listen so that they can respond. You see? I mean, their aim really is to win an argument, not to seek the truth. And that's terrible. I mean, it's not a dialogue, it's a performance. Literally. You can represent facts, ask sincere questions, and appeal to logic or to even shared values. But often it falls on deaf ears because they're listening. And why? Because the conversation was never about discovering what is right in the first place for them. It was about defending a worldview, no matter how inconsistent or irrational it may be. It doesn't matter for them. And until there is a willingness to truly hear and to consider another perspective, meaningful discussions becomes nearly impossible. Lord have mercy on these kids. They have no clue what they're doing or what they're believing or where they are headed. They have no clue. They have been raised in a culture that mocks truth and silences wisdom and rewards confusion. Can you imagine? I mean, their minds are filled with noise. Souls are starving for something rare. They think they are enlightened, but they walk in darkness. So, Father, break through the fog, open their eyes, reach out into the chaos, and draw them out yourself. Draw them out yourself, because without you, they will keep wandering, angry, lost, confusion, utterly unaware that the hope they are of the hope that they are rejecting. Yeah, that's my prayer. That's my prayer for them. And ladies and gentlemen, I am not against education, not in the slightest. True education is a beautiful thing. Okay, it's about learning how to think, and not merely what to think. But what I am against is brainwashing. I'm utterly big, a big advocate of the day of going against brainwashing. You see, I mean, this subtle manipulation is the subtle manipulation that masquerades as education in today's world. You see, the problem isn't learning. The problem is the agenda behind what's being taught. You see, education should open minds, not close them in the name of progress. No, 1,000 times no. I mean, there are really two kinds of people in this world, ladies and gentlemen. There are those who follow and those who think. You see, the followers goes with the flow. They absorb the headlines, adopt the trends, and repeat whatever the loudest voices are saying. That's what they do. They find comfort in the crowd, even when the crowd is wrong. Doesn't matter. But then they are the thinkers now. Those who think. You see, and these ones, they are the one who pause, who question, and who challenge. You see the difference? Yes. They don't accept something just because it's popular. They search for what's true, even when it's uncomfortable. Literally. Thinkers are dangerous to corrupt systems because they refuse to be blindly led, and the world needs more thinkers. Yeah. And fewer blind followers. More thinkers, please. Ladies and gentlemen, the truth hurts. The truth hurts. Not because it's cruel, but because it exposes what we would rather ignore. You see, it cuts through our pride, our illusions, and our comfort zones. It holds up a mirror and shows us who we really are. That's what the truth does, not who we pretend to be. The truth demands change, and change is painful sometimes. That's why so many people run away from it. They mock it, and they seek to silence it. Literally. But the pain of truth is a gift because it leads to freedom, healing, clarity. Lies soothe for a moment. Truth stings, but it saves. Ladies and gentlemen, God is the author of all truth, not just spiritual truth, but every truth that exists, from the laws of nature to the moral order, from the deepest mysteries of the universe to the conscience within the human soul. I mean, all truth flows from God, whether you like it or not. It does. He doesn't just speak truth. He is the truth. God is the truth. And I mean, Jesus said in John 14 verse 6, I am the way, the truth, and the life. That means that truth is not subjective or evolving. Truth is eternal. Truth is unchanging and anchored in the very character of God. Any truth that stands the test of time that brings light to darkness, that reveals what is right and exposes what is wrong. Its origin is all in God. Yeah, Jesus Christ. My greatest desire above all else is that one day they will come to know God, truly encounter Him, and find in Him a peace that surpasses all understanding. I long for them to lay down their own burdens, their own fears and restless striving, and instead rest in the refuge and in the grace that Jesus Christ only provides. If you like this video, be sure to like, to comment, to subscribe, and click on the next one. It's bye-bye for now.